What's up, Gem? Welcome to your November 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kaylee Jean, and welcome to my channel. I record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anyone who's working on their personal growth, self-expression, or spirituality in any form. So if those areas of life are important to you, or if you're interested in entrepreneurship and making things happen for yourself, definitely go ahead and keep watching. I want to get right into your meditation message. It was very clear, very succinct, and very direct. So what came through was just when you take action, Gemini, on your desire, you're going to be amazed at how quickly things move. I don't know what it is about what's going on for you, but I feel like when you take the next step, it's almost like a roller coaster, when you're kind of like climbing to the top and then it like goes down and all of a sudden it's going really fast, whereas before it was like like that. And then it's like, whoo! So that was really the message. I hope that's helpful for someone out there. You can probably see my little dog. She's wanting some attention. But yeah, so that's the message for you, Gem. I hope that's helpful. I hope that gives you some courage, but also doesn't scare you about whatever this is, because I think that it's going to be really exciting. I don't think you need to be worried about it. It's just, you should know that when you do take action, things are going to move quicker than you think. So let's take a look at your cards. Lay down. Lay down. Gemini. Okay. And I'm going to get you a Bob Ross message, as always. There we go. And I'll get you a Sacred Destiny Oracle card. Kind of gives us the landscape that you're walking through. Okay. So let's take a look. Your path is the hyena. I feel like you guys have gotten this before. And the obstacle or influence is the swan. Okay, this is making so much sense. And actually, I want to look at your landscape card to get some sense of that as well. Gateway. That's awesome. Yeah, just like I was saying before, when you take this action, whatever it is that you're thinking about, I really feel like this is going to generate an open doorway for you. It's a gateway. This is a gateway month. This is definitely a portal type of month for you, where as you go through the threshold of November, you're going to find yourself coming out in totally new territory. So it's very exciting. And I think that the best way that I could describe your path and obstacle cards is really this concept of grace under pressure, right? Because the hyena shows like the pressure that you think that you're dealing with, maybe like the fear of criticism or maybe imposter syndrome. If you're doing something that is putting you in the position to be like a helper or an expert, or just putting yourself out there in a different way, I think a lot of times a hyena card can represent a feeling of imposter syndrome or a sense of like, who do I think I am? And maybe you're worried that other people will be thinking that about you, or you're worried about criticism, maybe negative reviews, or sarcasm, or maybe your vision is just kind of woo-woo and silly and it's for upliftment and entertainment, and you're worried that people are going to think of it as superficial in some way. There's like all these fears caught up around like how other people are going to respond. But the swan card is coming up as the influence, and I kind of see this more as guidance for you. It's saying, move through this with grace. Focus on being easy about it. Express yourself, Gemini. You are masterful in what you're doing. This is your gateway, right? I almost feel like this swan is like going through an archway here. Like I haven't really seen it that way, but that's how it's appearing to me right now. It's like you're going through this archway, you're going into this new reality, and you can choose to do this with grace and serenity and calm. You can choose to do this with full trust that you know what you're doing, because the swan can see its own reflection. So you're reflecting on what you're doing. You can see clearly what you're doing. So you don't need to worry about whatever might be potentially reflected back at you from others, because a lot of times if you get criticism that looks like this, it's coming from a place of jealousy, not genuine feedback, right? So you don't have to worry about that. You have the mastery already within you to move through this threshold. Yeah, and so you have the Five of Swords with the Six of Coins, the Eight of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. You've got the Five of Cups, the Two of Swords, and the Warrior of Swords with the Three of Wands. So a lot of minor arcana in this reading. You've got one personality card, the Warrior of Swords, which comes up at the end of the month. But until then, this deck, is illustrated with, it's a pip deck, so it's different than a pictorial kind of like landscape images. It's more just symbols and their arrangements. And I absolutely love this deck. It was created in 1929, so it just has a very nice November-y, like old world feel to it. But it's interesting to see, all pip cards coming up, or all minor arcana cards coming up in your reading, because it shows, and let's look at the bottom of the deck, your catalyst. Yeah, it's the Three of Cups. So you do have the support that you need this month. I would say rely on the people around you that are supportive of your path, because they are going to be the ones that are really helping you to move forward and giving you the insight and the emotional support and the strength to keep going. I do see a lot of support coming to you from people close to you, or people that really respect you in some way. So that's a catalyst kind of energy for you. But overall, seeing these minor arcana cards, this is an action month for you, Gemini. This is about taking action, just like what came through in the meditation. Minor arcana cards relate to everyday situations, actions, and consequences, as well as cause and effect. The first week of November, you have the Five of Swords with the Six of Pentacles. So there is a difficult choice that I think a lot of you are going to be making in the beginning of the month, which may have to do with walking away from one thing or situation or person, right? Because the Five of Swords is like drawing a line in the sand. The Five Swords are also arranged in the pentacle. So it's like whatever you're letting go of is helping a new and more aligned balance to come into your life with the Six of Pentacles. You might be, one example would be, maybe you have two potential people you might want to work with as investors, but neither of them is willing to work together. So you have to choose one or the other. And so it's like you choose not to work with one person, and then you get an investment from the other person. That's a very basic concept, but overall, what I really get with the Six of Pentacles, as well as like that there is an important exchange or an important deal or an important, maybe you get a new client or your first customer, if this is like a brand new business. And it's like you have to make some kind of a sacrifice in the process with the Five of Swords. I do feel an energy of sacrifice or of surrender with that card, strangely, but I feel like what's coming in is more than worth the sacrifice that you're making. So that's what I'm going to say about that. The Eight of Cups and the Ace of Wands very much echoes that same energy. Oh, sorry, she startled me. I think my husband just got home. But with the Eight of Cups, before I lose my train of thought, the Eight of Cups is about walking away from situations that are no longer really enough for you. So it's not necessarily about drawing a line in the sand anymore by the second week of November. It's more about trusting in your future and being willing to move forward into that future, which is a lot more exciting for you because you have the Ace of Wands here. So you have to focus on the future, really is like the message that I'm getting here for you, Gem. By the third week of November, you have the Five of Cups with the Two of Swords. So there is something about the third week of November that is very contemplative for you. I feel like you're not going to be quite as social. So if you are the type of Gemini who tends to fill up your schedule really quickly, or you know that you're going to have a lot going on in November, you may want to try and limit the amount of activities that you have agreed to do, because I feel like for some reason, some of you could be just feeling a lower energy level in that third week of November. There is the new moon in Scorpio on the 14th, so that's coming a little bit earlier. And that could be bringing in a little bit more of an introverted energy for you for some reason. It could be giving you some things to think about. Maybe something comes up from your past that you're like, you know what, I just want to process this, or I want to write about this, or I want to, maybe you want to book a counseling session or a tarot session or something like that. But I do think that the third week of November is more about inner work for you. So plan on needing a little bit of time to yourself and try and give that to yourself if you can. Now, by the end of the month, as the sun moves into Sagittarius, you're going to get that energy back. It's almost like you have to rest in the third week so that you can succeed in the fourth week, because you're going to come back so much stronger, so much more motivated and clear and enthusiastic if you give yourself some time off in the third week. And then by the time the sun moves over into Sag, you're going to start to feel like, okay, this is actually more energizing, which, makes sense because the sun will be opposing anything that you have in Gemini, but that can actually be an energizing influence. So what I want to say here is with the Three of Wands and the Warrior of Swords, it's going to be about thinking things through and then seriously taking action. I mean it. Some of you could even be traveling at the end of November for whatever reason. You might have something come up where you're like, you know what? I don't care about what's going on in the world. I'm going to take this trip, or I have something that I have to do for work and I need to travel. So you may be getting out there and doing some things that take you to new places at the end of the month. Let's take a look at your Bob Ross message. He says, you really can learn to be creative as you paint. It's like anything else. It just takes a little practice. Beautiful. I think this is about your whole approach to your life throughout November is like, as you go, Gemini, as you take action and as you move forward, you can learn things as you go. You can take action without having seen, 10 steps ahead. I think the main thing is that you know what you know and you know what you don't know. And I think if you have clarity about that, then whatever you don't know, as it comes into your awareness, you're going to be more able to take advantage of it or use it to your best advantage. If you're already aware of like what your actual strengths are and what your capabilities are right now and what your resources are right now. But if you don't know where you are, then it's really hard to place new information that's coming in. So I want you to really keep that in mind. And anytime that you feel confused this month, go back to, whatever you can figure out about where you are right now, right? Like maybe it's your financial numbers with your business. Maybe you haven't really looked at what you're actually spending and what money is coming in for your business. So maybe you actually need to get a very clear picture of the financial outline of your business. If you don't have that, just doing that might bring some things into clarity for you. So I'm just using that as an example. It could be related to other things, but if you do feel confused, it might be because there's something that already characterizes where you are now that you're just not aware of or that you're not paying enough attention to. So I hope that's helpful. Please let me know in the comments what you thought about this reading. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. You can also subscribe to notifications as well so you'll never miss a reading. I hope you guys have an amazing month, and I will talk to you next time.